pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Okay, Patty, can we have a roll call?
Debbie? Here. Dave?
Here.
Carol?
Here.
Gary?
Here.
Joe?
Here.
Okay, I would like to have someone make a motion to move the opening of the bids for Galvin up to the visitors section.
I so moved.
Second.
Okay, the motion has been made and seconded to move the open bids for Galvin up to the visitors section.
Roll call for that?
Yeah.
Debbie?
Yes.
Aye. Dave?
Aye.
I'm still trying to get everything ready here.
Yeah. Yeah, aye.
Gary?
Aye.
Joe?
Aye.
Okay. Motion is carried. Eventually. Well. Is,
Probably.
here it comes. Okay, this is the, you have the thin lift overlay. This is from American Asphalt. We brought, this is all your information on it. There's our certificate of liability. Okay, this is from American Asphalt of Wisconsin. They have given us a bid of $110,445. This is, well, Kevin, do you want, maybe we can just ask you to
Sure.
explain what's on here.
Okay, yeah, I can definitely explain it. So what it is it's an ultra thin asphalt, so it's an average of 1 inch thick throughout the whole roadway. There's a couple areas, probably 3 areas total, that we would have to wedge asphalt first. Where it's bad, like there's a culvert area, we definitely want to wedge some asphalt there to level it out. And then down towards 97, there's a couple areas down there where the asphalt's starting to push and it's cracking. We would want to wedge in asphalt there to get a even surface before we put this 1 inch on there. So what it includes is, we have a little mill on the front of a skid steer that we make a joint on the ends, so it comes in flush. Then we'd also do that on the intersections. And then pretty much pave it the existing width and length from 97 to Elm.
To Elm.
And that includes a tack coat.
That does include, so we come and sweep it all off first,
Yep.
tack coat it, pave it. So we spray heavy tack on there, I'm glad you brought that up, just to get that to adhere. So what we look for in ultra thin, I guess, is the road, is it ready for an ultra thin lift? And what pretty much tells us if it is it still in good shape? Is it not cracking up really badly, or is there clay coming through? So we need a good base for an ultra thin. So what an ultra thin is doing is we're trying to get the weather from getting down in your asphalt from the top side. And obviously this is a good candidate for it because it's structurally sound yet. It's just starting to crack. So I think it would definitely be a candidate for the ultra thin. So we're hoping to seal it back off and give you 10 to 15 more years of life for sure.
Mhm.
And that would include the fiber in it?
That does not have fiber in it.
That does not have fiber.
It does not. So it's just, what it is it's a 9.5 millimeter mix, so instead of it being like a regular 1/2 inch, blacktop mix that we use on top,
Yep.
since it's only an inch, we use 3/8 inch rock so we can pave it a little thinner.
Yep.
And then it's just got a little more oil in it to bond it together a little bit better.
Okay.
Would we be better off putting fiber in that? Or wouldn't it matter on that?
It's an option. We don't usually see it because it does add quite a bit. Where we really see fiber being used is, concrete overlays, parking lots that we really see a lot of movement. It
Is the
can-
longevity better?
what the longevity would do on it would be, instead of from me to you being 3 cracks, it would probably eliminate it to 1 crack. So what we see fiber do is eliminate some of the cracks. It's still gonna crack, but it's gonna be
Less.
fewer. And I can definitely come up with a number for putting fiber in it. That is definitely an option if you would like to see that.
It's up to the road guy, really.
Were there any spots that you think anything needs to be done on the subsurface?
I don't think so, I'm a
You know,
little
there's
concerned.
really only, I think, that I see one spot closer to where
Closer down to 97 on
97.
southbound. Yeah, I'm seeing some there, but I think if we tack that and clean it well and put a good wedge lift in there before we do it, I think it'll hold. It's just a matter of once we start doing subsoil work, it's just, we end up digging, and then wherever we dug and stopped, it becomes an issue. That's definitely where it's gonna crack right away. So if we can eliminate it, we definitely try to.
is shouldering included in that?
No shoulder.
No shouldering afterwards.
And the wedging,
Yes,
wedging in
wedging
there?
is in there.
okay, good.
Yep.
Okay. Do you want to make a motion? This is our own bid.
I'll move that we, mill 1-inch joint on each end of Galvin, sweep and prep the roadway from Galvin Avenue from Elm to 97. Apply a tack coat prior to paving the surface area. Wedging where needed as necessary, and overlay the existing pavement with DOT spec type 3 ultra thin asphalt to an average thickness of 1 inch. For a total price of $110,445.
Is there a second?
I'll second.
The motion has been made and seconded.
Got that? I did.
You did, okay. Is there any discussion on this? Now,
I got a question, Dave. What does that amount come to as far as what was budgeted for that?
I just looked on our CIP. Where is it?
150 is what we had on the
And
CIP.
how much will the shouldering be on 2 miles of road?
Well, it's gonna, that I don't know the answer to. But it's only gonna be an average thickness of 1 inch.
Yeah.
So it's like putting a 3-inch
Understand.
cap on it. Do we have any idea what we put in for shouldering on, what was the last one we did? Sod?
Is that,
That boulder's not there.
it's not in this.
Not in there, okay. No, I can answer that question.
Okay.
Okay,
But the 110 was right in the ballpark from what we had discussed prior, right?
okay. Any other discussion? Want to take a vote?
Debbie? Aye. Dave?
Aye.
Carolyn?
Aye,
Gary?
Aye.
Joe?
Aye.
very good. Thank you.
Great, thank you.
Sign one?
Please.
Huh?
sign your life away.
Well, I know there's a sign.
You want to sign?
Well,
No, I think you gotta sign, Carolyn. You're the chair.
I just thought maybe he seemed, maybe want to co-sign it or something.
Did I only put one in there for you?
Pardon me?
Did I give you another copy or not?
All you gave me was this one. You
Here's
want the,
another one, so if I take a signed one, at least you'll have one.
right.
yes. Yeah, except 7.
So ballpark would be like another 12,000-ish for fiber. I just did some
There's the
numbers.
door.
That's about what it would have been.
Yeah. I'm just curious if there was that much more longevity.
You know, cracking wise is where we really see it.
Yeah, but otherwise it's the 10 years, whatever.
Yeah, because I know it's at nice. Yeah.
Yeah, right.
What's that?
No.
You just gave this bid for that.
Okay,
Perfect.
very good.
Mid-August,
She was just.
Very
good.
Very
that's
good.
what we're at right now.
Okay, yeah,
So
wonderful.
stay in contact with me on any questions. I'll
Sure.
definitely let you know.
And, you said something, you have something, maybe if they want to know more,
Yeah,
get in touch with you.
definitely, because I have some samples of what the different mixes look like.
Yeah,
Okay.
And we can go over this. If you have more questions.
okay.
Awesome.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
Well, here, wait, we got the rest of it.
Yeah.
There you go. Okay, next on the agenda, comments from the audience.
We didn't have any more visitors, did we?
Yes, we do. We consider visitors?
I guess,
Comments from the audience.
comments from the audience.
Because they're side by side, don't really matter.
Yeah, yeah,
Okay,
a visitor comment.
I don't know if we should bring this up at this point from the audience now, or if we should wait for the approved, disapproved contract with the MSA for man contingent on ability to substitute grant.
Should bring it up now.
We should bring it up now.
Yes.
I think we have a contingency here from Birch Street. Anybody from Birch Street that's interested in the paving of that road, please raise your hand. I don't know if I want to be spokesman tonight or not, but I'm going to at least open it up.
Well,
We would like-
excuse me, Mr. Arneson, the comments, you can make comments, we're not opening this up for discussion. It's not open for discussion.
What's the
Brian's and all
What-
settled.
what's What's the difference between comments and discussion?
Well, because he's saying that he has this discussion, and we didn't put it on the agenda for open
That's right, but
discussion.
visitors, don't they have a chance to discuss?
You have a chance to make your comments,
Okay,
period.
so we can make our comments?
Yes, absolutely.
Okay,
Just wanted to make sure.
I know that's not on the agenda
Yeah.
for voting, but we can make our comments.
Yes, absolutely.
And so, we would like an explanation of why the grant was taken from Birch Street paving to the Man Road paving. And once the grant was granted to that project, and now it has been taken away from, that's the way I understand it, is that correct?
That, not totally. Because
Then
it's
explain it.
not, okay, I'd be happy to. We set up our priority with our roads and the amount of money that we had to spend this year. Then, we knew, man has 2,000 to 2,500 people on that road per day.
Okay.
And this spring, which we had not anticipated, we had water and mud coming up through the middle of the asphalt, which means we have kind of it's not really an emergency, but it is a very big concern, and we have to address it. And you know, after our annual meeting, where we are financially. We just don't have the money. So I went to Jim Griesbach, who is the county commissioner, and asked him, you know, do we have to use this grant money on the one that we applied for? And he said, no, if you have something that you needed on that is higher priority, you may move it once. So that was what came into play.
Has that been submitted for?
It has been, we put in for that, we submitted it to the county, but we have not gotten a result yet.
Okay.
So it's not a done deal at all until we hear from them. Yes,
Can I ask a question?
yes.
Okay. In the May minutes, and I think this is the meeting where I was there and went over the financials. There's a comment that Drake has been put on hold because of the lack of funds, okay?
Correct.
And they talk about what we're gonna prep Birch and all this stuff. And then when I read, unless I'm just not getting too old to read well anymore, it looks like there's a comment in the June minutes about work has been done on Drake?
It was prepped a year ago.
Okay.
That was already
All
done.
right, so that's not something that's happened between me. It's
No,
just
no,
the way
no.
it's written, it's a
No.
little okay.
No.
That's what I wanted to
But
clarify.
we have not committed to blacktopping it at all, because we don't obviously have any money to do it.
So from C north has not been done at all,
See north of, on which one?
Andre?
The prep has all been done, the culverts were replaced last year.
Okay, but you gravelled it this year. C, from C north,
North of C or south of C?
south,
North of
north of
C,
C.
That's a regular maintenance issue, yeah. Drake from County Trent C to a plane had base course put on it along with our half of Eau Plaine west to stop.
But that was done this spring,
Correct.
the loose gravel.
Correct.
Yeah, it was prepped a year ago, and it was just,
No, that
No,
wasn't.
no, no.
Drake was prepped a year ago.
Not that
Only,
part.
it's only been
Drake-
97.
Drake from C south was done.
Was done last year along with the culvert replacements that, I think there was 5 of them on there.
Drain tile.
That was done last year. The only thing that was done this year on Drake was north of C to a plane, and it isn't reflected in the minutes, and we haven't adopted them, but we did put base course on Eau Plaine on our portion, our half, to the west, to Stod.
With regard to the grant, you said the application has been made to take that money which was awarded for you to use on Birch to this other project. What are the possibilities? They can tell you yes, they can tell you no, and if they tell you no, then what happens to the grant?
Then it would go back to the state.
We have to go back to the state, or we have to put it on Birch, correct?
Right.
Yes. So it's not a done deal
So
here yet.
it cannot revert back to Birch Street?
Yes, it can. Yes, if they refuse to move it. And it's all up to them.
It's up to the county commission
Mhm.
that handles
Yeah.
that.
Knowing how government bodies have to work and do budgets, I have no problem with if there's a more important area to go
Yeah.
with the money, that it goes there. But would you mind just a quick explanation of how those decisions get made with the planning commission, just so I have a better idea?
The plan commission did not have anything to do with the decision on moving that.
Okay,
They came to us with a recommendation that we need to address the paved roads that we have now that are in dire need before we do any more blacktopping. That was their recommendation. And then when this business this spring came up, I mean, it pretty much, you know, that's how it fell into being.
Do you have any count of how many citizens actually drive Manning Road versus citizens from Marshfield, Spencer, whatever? Now, you're saying 2,500 cars use that road.
Right.
I drove that road. The citizens of this township are probably only maybe, what, 16, 17 driveways on that road?
Probably. I don't know if it's even that many.
We have almost that many on Birch Street,
Right.
and it's all citizens of this township. Does that have any bearing at all?
None.
Why?
Because we have no control over who drives on that road. We don't have control, and they use that. And that's why we have approached the city to see if there was any way that we could get some cooperation from them, because they get the benefit of the traffic, for the most part, from that road. Because it's the bypass for the city to Menards, Walmart, and what have you.
Right.
Or the clinic, St. Joseph's. So, I mean, and probably the majority of them are not the citizens. So, but that doesn't mean we can't address, we have to address that road. It's our road. So, and when it becomes a safety feature and it's breaking up fast where all that's coming up.
You're talking about safety feature? Have you driven down Birch Street?
Yes, I have.
Lately?
Well, you've got houses being built over there, don't you?
Yes, we do. We have new
And that
tax,
causes
we
a
have
lot of problems.
we have new tax base being installed over there right now. And I'm telling you.
Well, you know how
that-
much we get out of our tax base. You know, I mean,
Well,
that was
after
pointed
40
out.
years, don't you think our tax base has,
More than paid for
More
a
than-
portion of that road.
you know,
Now-
this is ridiculous.
What I'm trying to say is, if you drive down that road right now, in the fall, when we told you, and I brought those stones up to you, I told you it was a safety hazard. It has not improved.
Well, it's
Now
going
it's-
to.
Huh?
It's going to, because we're bringing in, you tell them what it,
What we could do, I think, is get some manufactured base course. The fines to bind the bigger stuff together. We had the same thing happen over in Lincoln. And the reason that happened is the fines hold the aggregate together. On a dry year, and I'm not saying it happened on Birch, but it happened on another mile of road. The fines hold the aggregate together, and when it's dry, the fines create dust and the dust leaves. And what you got left is aggregate. What we can do is get some manufactured sand, which is hard rock, just crushed up smaller portions to bind those aggregate together. That's a kind of a last ditch effort I think we could do to help you out.
Is that still not gonna be a hard surface, right?
No?
well, you were not, you know, even with the grant didn't even have the hard surface in that grant.
What was it?
It was the prep work. The prep work, that's what the grant was.
What's the prep work was done a year ago?
No, it is not. You're gonna have to have new culverts along there, you're gonna have to have drain tile, you're gonna have to have some of the areas dug out, and that's prep work.
Then why was the stuff that was put on there if we weren't gonna continue with the project?
It's to keep your base that you have in place. You have to have a base under a road. And now they have changed the specs for that. Now that, for any new road that goes in, it's gonna be a heck of a lot more base than what you have on your road. So it
They were-
keeps your road from disintegrating. So that's,
We were told that something was gonna be done with that road in last fall because it was put on a year ago in spring. And it's still the same condition as it was. I don't think anybody would like to walk down that road or try and ride a bike down that road or take a motorcycle down that road. Now, you put up a rough road sign up here on Man, at least for safety reasons, put up, stones, caution. Those stones are being spit out of that road like crazy.
Well, who's driving on it? The residents? If you're telling us there's what, 200, how many cars a day are on there? 200?
No, the road count was 90.
Was 90.
Oh,
So,
I-
how many, my question back to this Birch Street residents is how many people are traveling that road other than board members and a fire truck
Septic tanks are coming in,
That's for the
That's-
residents.
for the residents?
That's
Well,
for-
aren't we residents of the town of McMillan that
Yes, exactly.
deserve
That's-
a road?
well, you understand it?
I'm not arguing with you, but what I'm
Yes,
saying
Al.
is, if you have other residents, other people other than the residents traveling, are you brought up the question about other residents, other non-residents traveling Man Road.
Right.
So how many do you think that are non-residents that are traveling Birch?
Probably 3 families.
Okay, and they're from the other township, correct?
They're off of Day Road and down to Day, yes.
Yeah,
3 families.
thank you.
Allison?
Just a point, I find that communication on this issue is all over the map. We were told that we had a base for potential pavement way back in the fall. Then in that same meeting, we were told it was never intended to be paved, but then why was the base put? I was terribly confused. So then we go to the meeting in May, and an announcement is made off the cuff that, well, of course we're paving Birch. News to us,
Who said that?
hey, Mrs. Opus.
No.
We got the impression,
No, the money was for,
Carolyn, we got the impression that you said the grant had been put in and that we have intentions to pay Birch. That was our understanding at the May meeting. I'm sorry, but that's how we understood it. Again, communication is really key here, ladies and gentlemen. Now we're reading that, oh no, we got a grant, but then we're gonna shuffle this over to Man Road. Well, that's fine if it's necessary. I understand that issue. It's gotta go where it's gotta go, or it's most needed. But I think that we need to understand when we're expecting something or we're told that something's gonna happen and it doesn't happen, I would really appreciate somebody sending us a letter explaining what's going on, why this was made, because I think that makes us a little more anxious. But if we were to understand that, man is about to cave in because of the bubbling from underneath the aquifer or whatever, and we'd say, it probably doesn't need to be there. Okay, no big deal. But I just think that communication is terribly important. And I don't see that the I's have not been dotted and the T's haven't been crossed, at least to our satisfaction. And I would just ask that y'all would graciously communicate with us more about exactly what's going on with Birch Street. Thank you very much.
well, I thank you. And maybe we have been amiss in this, but we also don't have the answers yet either. We don't know if the decision has even been made. And until we hear from the county, you still they may say no, that we can't move it.
How much is that grant, Carolyn?
It's 26,000, and so it's.
Is that all the grant is,
Yes.
26,000?
That's it, that's all it is.
And
So
we
that doesn't go very far
And we
toward
have-
anything.
You
Yeah,
also have to match that. You
Right.
understand that?
You-
Plus whatever.
plus the rest of it. So,
And
we're in a quandary. Let's face it, and I think that we tried to show people at the annual meeting, that, the price of everything is going up. The amount of money that we get from is not increasing. They're keeping us the same on that from the state, and it's,
And residents, because you do have the option of raising that mill rate in the fall.
yes. And which nobody wants. Nobody wants their taxes. Now, we haven't raised our taxes, yes.
I gotta tell you, we have a little piece of hunting property down towards Brandon. And coming back, we decided to take
It was Sand Hill.
Sand Hill Road, all the way in, because we have a little Amish lady that sells us chickens and eggs, and we like to go tell them hi. That was the nicest gravel road I've ever driven on. Why can't I mean, if you have no intention of paving Birch, and I can understand if it's an issue, why can't our road look like that?
That's what
Why
Dave's,
does our road have rocks this big where I wanna turn my ankle every time I walk my dog? It cuts my bike tires when and in fact, I don't even, I park at Dave Daniel and Marion Daniel's house to ride my bike. Because I'm terrible at changing bike tires. I found that out the other day. But, you know, we can't enjoy our road, not with these big chunks that cut tires, that turn ankles, I mean, it makes leisure activity. And even, you know, it's a safety hazard. You get a deer and you slam on the brakes, you're gonna fishtail. And I'm not talking about, I'm 56 years old. I don't need to speed down Birch Street. Neither do these older people here. So don't tell us it's a, with all respect.
the thing is now,
But the thing
you
is,
have misquoted because
Carolyn, the thing is that we have been told that, well, you take the road too fast. That came out of David Swinson's mouth last fall. No, not us. Now, my teenagers are gone. The teenagers around Day Road are all in college. It's just some old poops that live on the road now. This is the youngest guy on the street. And I've never seen him squeal down the street. So don't tell us we're driving too fast.
Okay, but now the thing is that where you're wrong, you just said that we're never gonna pay, that is not correct. It can be moved
Dave
out.
Swenson told us at that fall meeting that we didn't have a road wide enough and that nobody had given him some extra, did I offer 3 or 4 feet? I said, no, I didn't know I had to offer 3 or 4 feet. Well, we can't do it because the state won't let us do it. But
Unless you meet the specifications.
there were 3 different answers about Birch that night. And I'm just like, I'm letting it go, but, okay.
Okay.
And it's on the tape, I'm sure.
Now, we have to move on. We have to move on. And we hear you. And I know, so that's why we're gonna try and work with this other to get us, you know, at least this year and see what happens. We have to use that grant money, the 26,000, which is not very much, but we take every penny we can get. And that has to, and so, Kenny, now you raised your hand and you broke my train of thought.
Oh, God, how could I do that?
We have to use that grant this year. It has to be used because I'll be darned if I'm gonna turn it back if they don't allow us to do it. So we will be addressing Birch in some way, some form, if we can, if they don't let us move it. Now, if they do let us move it, we're gonna still come in with this, and we've already got it ordered, the new sand and gravel, to make it so that people can go.
It's actually manufactured base, just crushed up. It's the fines that hold the aggregate together.
Is that the same stuff that we have?
Excuse me, I know you wanna move on. When is the next CIP gonna be announced for publication? Because I know it was announced earlier, then it was
Oh,
canceled.
yeah, well, I don't know what the deal was with that, because it was not complete. And he was gonna have a hearing, but he canceled it then. So it will be probably in August. And by then, we're gonna have a very good idea of where we are for even just this year. So,
I
okay?
just had one other comment, and this is going back in years that I've been around. The chickens that come home to roost. I stood up at an annual meeting, and I don't think any Birch Street residents, I may be wrong, were at that meeting when they ratcheted the mill rate down. So that was 6 to 8 years ago.
That was it, that's
Okay,
the
so
budget.
and you were led to believe that by last year, probably you were gonna get blacktopped. Well, I'm gonna say it again, that took $200,000
Per year.
out of this year's budget, so that in the last 6 to 8 years, you can do the math, and see why we're in the quandary we're in. It all boils down to money.
I understand that. I think what,
Next year too.
I think the point that Allison was trying to make, and I'm gonna try to enforce the point or whatever, is you can see that this is a little bit of a touchy issue with some people on the street, okay, number one. I've been confused, and I usually try to read through the lines to figure out what's going on, but I've been confused as to what's going on. I have a little bit more clarification tonight. I think if something changes from what we were told last on any of this, a phone call or two from somebody, a couple of people here might save some of what's going on tonight and make things a little easier to deal with. That,
Yes,
or an
that's
explanation.
wonderful. Yes, we can, I'm
appreciate-
sorry that we have not
I
done this
just-
as good as we could have.
You know-
However, Rick Gunner are up in the air too, you know, so, I mean.
Did they grade that road this year?
I know you guys are busy, I know, there
That's
are a lot of
okay.
citizens, you can be on the phone all the time, but if you think there's something that changes or has, and we don't know about it, just a little bit more communication is what Allison was saying, might make things a little easier.
I was told that one of your residents didn't want to talk to me.
That's true.
That's true. That's true. That's true, Dave. And I'm guilty of that.
Did they?
Why you get calm, Ms. Burns?
Because
He's selling us.
I'm sorry, I just don't think I'm gonna get a straight answer. We've had so many answers over the last couple of months that,
I'm sorry.
Yes, Kenny?
Caroline, this has been controversial for some time, and I'm a lifelong resident here, and we've had our issues trying to use the roads and da-da-da-da-da, but I went down Man Road, and, you know, there's some spots, without a doubt. But then when I came home, I came on Birch, past the Schaefer farm. You know, there's some there too.
Yeah.
So you do have enough, you've got enough blacktop miles that you're probably gonna use your budget to just maintain those.
That's exactly, that's what the problem is.
And unfortunately, the rest of, you know,
However.
it's a tough deal, and I salute the board members because I served 2 years.
Yep.
So I know it's not easy, but, you know, we're all neighbors, and goodness gracious, one of my toughest residents on Birch was Judy Kosmicki. I mean, she turned us in, and she did this and that with her and Donna. And I mean, they were after us constant. And today, we're good friends. She stops at our store, buys her milk, and she said, Ken, you know, I understand you're gonna use the roads occasionally through the summer, and that'll be it. I said, you're right. You know, and we use 97 for the bulk of our work, but we do use the township roads occasionally, and that's all. Our milk, majority of our business is done on Highway 97, so we do pay taxes, and we like to be able to use the roads. And thank you, today we had no issues. We were able to use Birch. Took us about 4.5 hours.
Good.
Yeah.
And they're done and gone. So
Yeah.
we're not idiots, we're not trying to cause trouble, but we do need to use the roads. And if we're blacktop or not blacktop or whatever, you know,
Yeah.
we pay a bunch of taxes, and
But we get, and we appreciate that, and that's why it's been such a struggle for us, because the problem is like, and it's not just us, it's the whole country. The infrastructures have not been addressed, and we should have been keeping up. I mean, we've tried. We've had, you know, when Butch Ortel was in here, there were some areas of Man that were dug out and replaced, and those are in good shape. But, you know, then you go another mile and you got another breakup or blow up. And so it's all we can do with the amount of money that we have, because we get so little of the tax money. We get so little of it that we have to try to make it the best we can for everybody. And that's really what we've been trying to do, and at times you feel like, oh my God, what is going on here? We just can't do this. And
I think
I don't want to cry on anybody's shoulder, and we need to move on. But I appreciate, you know, that people, at least you come and ask and talk about it, because I mean, we're struggling too, to try and do what is best for the whole community.
Well, we're struggling too.
Yes,
because-
everybody is. Everybody is. That's
So,
it.
Yeah, I mean, so we need to work together, and, I mean,
Yes,
this road
exactly.
thing is, yeah, I know, and as many, I mean, Stad, there's areas on Stad that could be done, probably.
know.
And so I don't know how you'll ever get to Birch, you know, by the time you maintain those, you'll be out of money.
Well, you know, well, the thing that has come out of all of this struggling over the last few years is we are trying, that's why we're recreating a capital improvement plan. Because when those plans were set out back in 2000, early 2000s, we had more money coming in because our mill rate was so much higher. So now, when that got dropped so that people weren't paying through the teeth for the taxes, then of course something has to be cut back. And so over time, you lose ground. And that's
City of
where we
Marshall-
are.
City of Marshall don't have any money either, they're
I
gonna
know.
raise.
I
So
know.
don't try to tap there, I mean.
Nobody, well, we've tried, but
Yeah.
yeah, they don't have any money either. So, okay, thank you very much.
I got a question. Ken,
Yeah,
you know, when they haul from the other side of T, why aren't they going down T and 97 when they're coming back loaded?
well, because they all work by the hour, and we have to be as efficient as we can be. And you were the guy that told them to stay off. And I can appreciate that, Gary. I've been here a lot longer than you have, and I pay a ton more taxes than you do.
And you probably do, but that's
And we haven't
everybody
wrecked the road
else.
yet, we haven't wrecked the road yet. You show
Everybody
me where
else.
we damage the road. We go in the summertime, when the roads are settled, and if you understand the farming business, that haylage we're hauling today is 50% dry matter. So go weigh the truck up once. You threatened to kick us off, you threatened to.
I didn't threaten anybody.
Yeah, you did.
Okay,
I
okay,
did
we're
not.
Okay, point of order here. Let's go on. Thank you very much. We'll try to do a better job of our communications and whatever. And all we can do is, you know, we just keep plugging away. And Birch, it will be on the thing. It's just that, and I think that if we, by redoing our capital improvement plan, we're getting this more efficient. So that we're trying, I think, and we've got a good fire truck, we've got a good plow truck. I think we're through with vehicles for the time being, and we're gonna try and do what we can do.
But how would Drake come before?
Because that was all part of that way back plan. So we tried to pick up from there,
I mean,
and it just, so that's how it happened.
couple
So,
houses.
Well, we were in that plan also.
yeah, but you were after Drake.
Well, we were
Yeah,
in
so
20
that's how it
2012.
happened. So we tried to pick it up, but it's just futile.
What
It's
you gotta keep in
futile.
mind is over the, that last 5 or 6 years when they dropped the mill rate, we lost, $1.5 million in working capital.
So,
So
anyway,
far.
okay, we're gonna move on, okay? We've got, approval, anybody else have any comments that they need to make? Okay, we'll go on for, our agenda here, approval of minutes. We have, town board meetings of May 17th and June 13th.
Do one at a time or do I do both?
Pardon me?
Want to do one at a time or do both?
Well, you have, and we can do,
One at a time.
yes. We'll do May 17th,
Make a
26th.
motion to approve May 17th minutes.
I second that.
Okay, the motion's been made and seconded to approve the minutes of May 17th, 2016. Is there any discussion? Okay,
Debbie? Aye. Dave?
Aye.
Carolyn?
aye.
Gary?
Hey,
Joe?
Aye.
Okay, June 13th, 2016.
I'll make a motion to pass the June 13 minutes.
Is there a second?
I'll second it with one correction, and that was on my report. I stated that the base course had been applied to Drake, and it should have been Drake. It says north of C, but also our portion of Old Plain Street, west of Drake, to start.
Okay.
I have his notation corrected.
You have it? Okay. All right, motion has been made with corrections and seconded with, right?
Yep. Deb? Aye. Dave?
Aye.
Carolyn?
Aye.
Gary? Bill?
Aye.
Okay. Next thing on the agenda is, Plan Commission, John is not here. We do have a CSM, we can hit that as we go down under new business. Fire Department, Lori, are you here to give Rod's report?
Yes. To date, we've had 3 EMS calls, 1 false alarm, 1 power line down, and unauthorized burning. We do have 2 new members to the fire department, Cody Bauer and Kyle Kilty. They've joined us as probationary members. The department's also looking at a grant to purchase new SCBA's for the department through the FEMA grants. Ours are currently approaching 20 years old and they're becoming obsolete for the new stuff that's out there. Webpage, we have pretty much got a lot of that done.
Yeah, I see that.
Our portion should be hopefully completed by mid-August with your and John's help. I think there's only 2 sections I have left to type up and send out to him to get put on there. All hose has been tested at the fire station. We lost 8 lengths of hose this year due to breakage, rotting. That's why we tested. We will replace those 8 lengths, and it was put in the budget to replace any hose that we needed to after hose testing. We'd like to thank Patty for all her help with the payroll update on the paperwork and everything she's done with us. The EMS group, I'm working on the operational plan for our service upgrade with the state of Wisconsin. Once I get that done, I'll get that submitted, and will be their approval or disapproval, whichever they decide to do. And just look out on Fall Fest, if anybody's interested in helping the fire department with that, feel free to contact Rod at the fire station, leave a message, and he'll get back to you as soon as he can.
Thank you. And Ruth is not here for library. Supervisor, we do have a new resolution that we will address, but we'll leave that under new business. Dave, anything further on the highway?
Pat's got, I think I reported all the chloride was on the last time. He's mowing and cutting ditches and intersections. He's also done it on numerous county intersections with the township, because the county hasn't gotten out there. One of them that I travel quite a bit is up by Mullins. He did cut that back quite a ways. The other issue he had was drainage across from the town garage with the parsonage and the Bajowski property. Some ditching was done there to make that water go supposedly north. Hope that happened. Other than that, I don't have anything else to report.
He just, Kevin from American Asphalt just told us before he left it, they hope to get started on Galvin by the middle of August. So that's good.
Any questions you have for me? Dorothy?
Now, what is the PVC pipe coming from the parsonage to the ditch?
That is I believe that's a sump pump.
Can't do that. I can't run my sump pump into.
Who's supposed to place it? Am I supposed to?
If you dug it out.
There was thank you.
No gray waters.
No, that's not supposed to go in the ditch. Is that what they did?
Where are we supposed to go? I don't know.
Well, we'd have to put ours off in the woods, behind us.
They're pretty fussy about it now.
I know. Is that what has happened?
I don't know. It's pretty.
She said there was a PVC pipe coming out.
Well, I see there's. And all that put in, well,
So if they run their eave troughs in a ditch, they ain't supposed to do that either.
Run what?
Eave troughs.
I don't know, 'cause
I don't know where it comes from, Dorothy, I'm assuming.
We don't really know. I mean, there's a heck of a lot of digging over there, or has been.
Well, they dug up a tree, I think.
They took the whole row of trees out on the back side. I don't know what kind of agreement they had with the neighbor. And all I know is there's a waterway and a pipe come
Did they clean the ditch out then that runs off the culvert from my property going to the west? Because that comes in the same area. It's the
Over
first,
on this
yeah,
side?
yeah, it's the first culvert you'll hit when you go across.
that one wasn't
I know
done.
that one.
That one wasn't done. We could
Yeah,
take some out of
I
that.
mean,
Because,
when that waterway was put in on that property over there, they, you always leave the waterway blocked off until it gets seeded in. And I don't know if they ever opened it up.
Oh,
Maybe that would make a difference on the other side too, huh?
Because, I mean, that water is going to drain to the west.
well, I think we got a
Northwest,
quandary here in the Four Corners anyway, because there's no ditch in front of the parsonage. There's no culvert from the north side of Elm to the south side, plus there's a parking lot. And we got the town hall here, which is kind of in a hole, and there's no ditch from there to here. The only place there's a ditch is where the fire station is on that corner.
and then with
Over
the
the
ditch
years-
that he dug out, I think the culverts are the same height.
Right.
So I don't
There's
know if
not
that
much
water's
of a draw,
going.
there's not much of a draw to the north.
Yeah, like I said, the water is going to go to the northwest, down that
Eventually.
waterway that's through there.
Hopefully,
If it's
yes.
opened.
That's the way it's supposed to go. Yeah. I don't
Well,
know.
that's the way we want it to go, but is it gonna go there? I don't know.
May find out tonight.
Yeah.
When we're talking rain, girl.
Well, we need to, I think maybe we'll do a little investigating here as to what happened there really, and what the pipe is and, so forth.
Pretty obvious now, isn't it?
I mean, in the county, I requested, why don't we use our gray water for watering our lawns and things like that? And you can't. Not in Marathon County.
Who made that law? That's stupid.
Oh, I agree. There's
We
other,
got lots of those,
yeah,
Kathy.
there's other states that, I mean, you use that gray water for your gardens, you use it for flower beds and stuff like that.
For sure.
Why waste it? But anyways,
Okay. Larry, did you have something you wanted to say?
Yes, Dave mentioned that Pat was cutting the grass on county property.
He backed down the county road from our intersections, yes.
And he cleaned out the intersection that was intersecting with county property.
Yes, it's a safety feature
Okay.
for
so-
our residents.
Well, that's true, and that's a safety issue, but we build a county?
Pardon me?
Are we gonna build a county?
Right.
Good luck on that
Good
one.
Well, if the county wrecked our roads last
I
year,
understand.
so why did we send them a bill?
Tell you what, I'd
That's-
like to.
That's our labor that the taxpayers are paying for, our machine that we paid for, and that's county property, that's a county problem. They created a problem out here on Galvin and Elm,
Well, then I guess
so
we're
why
gonna-
aren't we gonna bill them? They don't seem to be helping us. Correct?
That's correct.
So why aren't we doing it?
Well, we can
So-
sell
Well, because we've tried,
I
and
know,
I'm
I
getting
viewed
nowhere.
it, I viewed it, and Pat viewed it as a safety issue.
I don't dispute that. I'm talking about the dollars and cents.
Yeah,
Okay,
they-
we got two county board representatives and ring the phone off. And get them to do something.
We can send them a bill.
Well, we could do that too.
Yeah, we can send them a bill and see how far that goes. And we'll put Dave's phone number.
I'm with you. Nobody likes me, they don't call.
Yeah, they don't call you, okay.
Dave's
Okay,
phone, we know how he is.
Okay. All right, Deb, do you have
What you
anything?
got?
Yeah, I put sand in the sandbox over here, got that all leveled off, and we also put in some more sand into the volleyball area, that's all squared away. The ball diamond has all been tilled up, Ronnie said, I think she was gonna work on that yesterday, but I'm not sure.
You did.
We
Saturday.
also got the lock fixed, which was not working, and that's all been re-computerized and set up and working good.
Okay. Joe?
See, Larry, Ken left, the IOH permits, I still have not received any requests for any IOH permits. As far as I know, there hasn't been any complaints about any IOH issues. The closest is Ken Seaver, but his technically, what he was doing today would not even fall under IOH.
Right.
And so he was issued a separate permit, just the town saying, okay, go ahead and use the road.
Yeah.
And I think in that case, it was probably okay to do that. It has to be, I appreciate what he said, that he does that in summer. He doesn't try to do it when he's hauling manure and that type of thing. He's gonna try to stay off our town roads. We gotta appreciate that, because that's what's gonna happen.
Well, he's gone to great lengths in that, you know, put in culverts and so he pipes all that, so he's off the roads with the manure, so.
But anyway, that's all I've got with that.
Okay.
Town hall maintenance, I haven't got anything done on this yet. I'm trying to get some time to do that. Marathon County addressing, as I told you, Carolyn.
Mhm. I didn't get anything at all
No,
on
you
it.
didn't, but I did. They sent me, and I'll have this here for people to look at after the meeting. I'm just gonna hold it up right now. Picture of our town roads. And what you can see in, I'm gonna call it orange, it might look like it's kind of yellowish. Those are the town roads that are duplicate names in the county.
Oh my.
If you take out Highway 97 and County C and County E, there aren't very many other roads that aren't. Okay. So, and then they sent me, along with that, they sent a list of the town, of the roads that, the names of the roads that are duplicates. And now, some of these, like, for instance, they got the Winterberry roads, okay? I think there's a good possibility they're just duplicated in our township, because you can't have they aren't gonna wanna see a Winterberry Court, and a Winterberry Lane, and a Winterberry Road. They're gonna wanna see they just wanna see one name. And they don't care if it's a lane or a court or a road or whatever it is, they don't want one name for every road. And I think that a number of these are that way, but especially the smaller ones. But it surprised me when I saw it, anyway, how much is duplicate.
Is that like,
I have kind of a question
Yes.
on that road thing. If everybody gets an individual number, everybody's number is gonna be different. What difference does it make what road, name of the road? You know what I'm saying?
Right.
Everybody has an individual number. Nobody's gonna have a duplicate number anywhere. So why do we worry about the names of the road?
Well, that's not entirely true, okay? There can be duplicate numbers
Really?
because of the way that the numbering system works.
I didn't think that was possible.
I brought that question up to the sheriff when he was talking at our meeting. And I brought it up in this way. I said, because he commented that there weren't gonna be any duplicate numbers. That's what his statement was.
That was, I thought was the understanding.
I said, are you telling me that the way the streets are numbered, they start at 100,000 on the west edge of the county, and they go up one number for every approximately 3 feet of ground to 180,000 on the east end. And don't quote me on that, but it's about 180 something. They start, the roads that run east and west, no, that's the
North and south.
the ones that run north and south start at 200,000 on the south end, on McMillan, and they go up at the same rate up to the top number is about 246 or 248,000, 248,000, because the county's shorter this way than it is this way. I said to him, are you telling me that when you look at Highway 13, which is basically the west edge of our county, almost the whole length of our county, and as you come off all the roads that come east off of that road, that county, and that there won't be 2 or 3 houses that have 100,000 and 100 as a number? They won't just line up where that 100,000 and 100 is gonna line up? And he said, absolutely not, there won't be. And I said, okay, if that's what you're telling me. Well then, after the meeting, as it was closing, he came back into the group and he said, I have to make a change to something I said. And he said, it is definitely possible with all the roads that are coming here that you could have 6 or 7 houses that line up in that same line. And, you know, because it's 3 feet and they're going by driveways, they won't all be that 100,000, 100, but there's a good chance you could have 2, 3, 4 of them that are the same number. But, so they're looking at, they're looking at just trying to make it as simple for this dispatching as they can. That they don't want to have anything duplicate, that when an address comes out, it's going to be real obvious where that address is. And these people are going to be able to get to it. Now, he said, you know, the main thing is the numbering system. Because like if he has to dispatch a deputy to the western edge of the county when they give 100,000 and 100 as an address, regardless of what the road is, and that'll come in that way. Because somebody with a cell phone will be driving down the road and see a problem, and they'll call it in, and they don't know what road they're driving on. And they'll just say, the address is 100,100, because the sign has the name of the road on it, but the sign has got numbers that are about that big, and the road name is about that big, along with the town name. And so it's, you know, it's just gonna, the thing is that if he gets that call and they give him 100,100, he can chase somebody down, you know, get on 29 and go west, and we'll find out where it's at, and you can get there, you know, they'll patch him through as he's getting, have him started already. And it doesn't, you know, all these topics come up in these meetings, but the thing that has to be just kept in mind is it's done. It's gonna happen. Nothing that anybody says is gonna stop it from happening. And the only thing that has to happen now, and that's what this, I don't know who's gonna be doing it. I imagine Carolyn's gonna want me to get in there and fight with everybody else. But basically, some people from our town are gonna have to represent our town as talking about these roads with all the other towns and cities and villages that are getting into this, that have the same names, and try to figure out, you know, what the name should be. And it's an issue because a lot of this is it isn't only the duplication of it, because like they're showing that Drake is not a duplicated road, okay? However, Drake is a road that runs all the way through the county in segments. It breaks for the Old Plain flowage, and it breaks one other place it breaks up to, well, it breaks for the highway, for 97 north of Athens. It lines up with the old Iron Bridge Road up there, Corlad Road. And Corlad Road breaks for 29, doesn't go across there at all. It's a different, each township has a different name on it.
Right.
And, you know, that's gonna be an issue, that road is gonna be discussed, what's the name of that road gonna be? Because they're gonna wanna see that road be the same name all the way through the county.
So, well, for instance, like our Birch, you've got 4 roads, 4 different segments of Birch alone.
4?
Yeah, you have from E
You got
to
Edestat.
Galvin,
You got Edestat.
Galvin to
No,
Stott.
that's all one road. You
That's
got
all one road.
Edestat and then 97 to Day. Those are the 2 sections you have.
So, okay.
And it's all the same road, it just breaks for Mummy and Case.
Right.
Well,
That's all, right?
Galvin, Stott.
And see, that's an issue with our Birch, because if we wanna say, well, let's have it all be Birch, let's stay with Birch. I looked at some Birches in some other townships, and there's a Birch in town of Genther, and the town just north of Genther, that runs completely through Genther, and it runs about halfway through the next township. And I expect that, you know, that's gonna be some of the thing that's gonna tell us, are they gonna, who's gonna get that number? It's gonna be how many residents there are on it, how long it is already, what it lines up with other names. There's just so many variables.
Yeah.
And personally, I don't know, I see us getting together and discussing this and maybe coming up with a few solutions to it, but in general, we aren't gonna come up with solutions to that. There's gonna be too many people that want this and want that. And what's gonna happen is this committee is gonna end up making the decisions. And they're just trying to get us involved enough so that we feel like we've got some involvement. I don't see how 6 different township people are gonna get together and decide who's gonna have Birch Street be their name. Yes.
Couldn't that be done, because it sounded like when you first presented it, that this was based on GPS coordinates, which there will be no duplicates for any particular point.
Yeah, that's
Well,
right.
like I said, it's set up.
I don't care what the name is, I don't care what the number is, there will not be duplicates for any specific place.
Yeah,
No, there can't.
No,
be
there cannot be, not with,
duplicate numbers.
not with the GPS coordinate, there will not
But
be,
it's
because
not gonna
it
be-
measures.
But it's not gonna, you aren't gonna get GPS coordinates. That isn't what they're giving you.
Well, if they take
They're giving
latitude
you-
and longitude and they leave out seconds, which will be unnecessary, you only have 8 numbers. And how many, you have 6 in 100,000, you could likely put that in there.
I just asked them because I could see, like I said, with Highway 13, there's a road, our county is,
That's right, if you set up, if it's a number system, but that GPS isn't a number system, it's a coordinate system.
That's right.
That covers the entire globe, it will have
That's
absolutely,
not
there will
what
be
it
no
is.
duplicates for any
That's not what it
specific point.
is. That's not what it is. It's set up with 100,000 on the left, on the west, and 200,000 on the south, and it goes, like I said, they gave it in meters, and it's basically 3 feet or something.
39.36
It wasn't a
inches.
meter, it was something, and they gave us a dimension, but it's about 3 feet at there's enough numbers that about every 3 feet can have one.
Yeah, because
But there can
that's the
be-
reason why it sounded like coordinates to me, because it was done in meters, it wasn't done in feet and inches.
But it's going to be, there's just such a chance that as you go across on some number, that you're gonna end up hitting, 6 or 8 driveways going in that direction.
No, not
Yeah,
not if
each
it's
driver will have
GPS.
a different
Not if
number.
it's GPS, no. But
Each
by
driver will have a different number.
the
You
number
can't do-
coordinates,
No.
it would be, it can. Yes,
What-
Dorothy.
We're one of the last counties to do this.
There's 3 counties.
Okay, so that means there's, how many have already done it, so, you know, are we working with them to find out how they got through it?
Oh, yeah, yeah, they're talking, the county's doing that.
Yeah.
And it's, I got a place on Spirit Lake, which is in Taylor County, and it's a road that hits 102 in 2 spots, and the way that's numbered is the most confusing thing that there ever was, because the, well, what they did wrong is they took what they have to do with this is they have to take every one of these roads, and they have to say, this is an east-west road, and this is a north, and here they look at this road here, which is Sugar Bush, this part of Sugar Bush. Even looking at all of Sugar Bush, okay, that's the situation where that could happen. If they got numbers that are, you know, this way, and numbers that are this way, mainly this way, you could have the same number, similar numbers across both sides of Sugar Bush. So they have to determine that this Sugar Bush lane is a north-south lane, and it's gonna have the 200,000 numbers on it. Even though when you come off of it, you're going west when you're getting onto it. But they're gonna have to come up with that direction. And I mentioned that to one of the guys that's involved, one of the head guys with county planning, the computer guys. And he said, yeah, he said, you got a problem there in Taylor County. And he said that he knows what that is because he said his parents had a place on Pelican Lake, and it was exactly the same thing. They redid the thing, and they had numbers. All 2 people had numbers that. What happens when I give somebody directions to come in from the east road, which is the way I go in, and they come in, if they happen to get on Spirit Lake Road and go into the west road first, they go past my number before they get to me. And that, because the numbers go up like this. And that's just the way the coordinates are screwed up. And he said what they did up in, that would have been Oneida County, is they went back again and changed that. And they changed that road from either an east-west to a north-south, or north-south to the east-west, and everybody got a new address again. Yes?
Any buy-in from the villages and from the cities on this thing anymore? I read
at the last meeting, there wasn't any of them that I knew that had committed to it. But talking to some of the other townspeople now that I know that I deal with, and I know the Village of Athens is looking very strongly at it. Village of Stratford, I think, is almost committed to it. There are some other villages that are definitely considering it, but I don't know what they've done with that.
Well, it's on the agenda for the Towns Association meeting.
To talk about it.
Yeah.
Yep.
Yeah. So that'd be interesting.
That'd be very.
Okay.
Question, how come the air conditioning is turned off?
Saving money.
Okay. No, the box outside's turned off.
It was cool when I came in.
It was cool when we came in, and then we got all the bodies in here, and then
Too
it
much
got
hot air in here.
Too much hot air.
I'll keep my mouth shut for a while.
Okay.
It's off, so.
Okay. Gary, thanks, Joe.
I'll have this up here, anybody wants to take a look at it.
Well, on the newsletter, I have to start thinking about it, because next month it'll be due, and nothing on the wall here.
Okay. Okay, well then
When
we'll.
are you gonna be sending that out then?
When do you want the articles?
Well, it's gotta be out before Fall Fest,
Yeah.
so, you know, it'll have to be turned in probably to,
Mid-August?
yeah, up to mid-August.
By the
If
next
it runs
meeting?
like it did the last time now.
You want it as soon as you can.
Yeah, probably by the next meeting.
Okay,
You might wanna send an email out to everybody to remind us. And, you know, fire department and planning commission and all of them, let them know.
do emails.
All right.
Somebody will have to give you a lesson.
You
I
okay?
have a new list for you too.
What?
I have a new list for his newsletter.
You got, oh yeah, she got you a new list. There you go.
Right, there's
Going
it's
right
on
up
a
the-
computer
coming
though,
right up
should
the
you want
ladder.
it printed? I can email it to you.
Yeah.
We just discussed that. I think we did.
Okay. All right, clerk.
So the beginning balance as of June 2016, $524,901. Total receipts for $15,045.69. Total disbursements, $116,906.15 for an ending balance of all accounts, $423,040.54. Your check register from June 14th through July 11th. A total disbursement of $94,984.46 is comprised of checks 14243 through 14303 with an electronic check ACH 629-2016. And the other thing I want direction from the board on is during Lori's report, she mentioned that we're going through the personnel files, folders for payroll for the fire department. I have 10 firemen who should have been on the quarterly payroll but didn't come in and complete their paperwork and or sign their time cards. So do they wait until the next quarter, or do I include them in the next payroll, which is gonna be run on Thursday for?
Payroll has already been pre-approved. We can pay payroll.
Payroll has, but not, it's my understanding, not for quarterly,
Okay.
which is why I would like some direction.
Well, fire department doesn't get paid quarterly, we get paid twice a year.
Mhm.
Once in the middle of the year and once at the end of the year.
Mhm.
So you have 6 months on each check.
Well, see, that's different than what I was told too.
Yeah,
That's what I was told how it's gotta work, so that's what I've been doing over there is twice a month getting the payroll ready to go in for this
For the
meeting in
6th
July.
month, yeah.
And then 6 months would be the end of December, and that's when that next one would be ready to bring to the board to get paid out.
If that's the case, were your officers' salaries
I don't know.
included in the time cards you
No, they
gave
were
us?
not. Those are just the calls on the time cards. That
Okay,
officer pay, I got no clue how that gets paid out.
so I'm just supposed to know that?
I,
I mean,
I
that's
don't
my
know.
question.
I don't know.
There's no policy I don't know if there was a procedure, there was, employee paperwork that should have been filled out that wasn't filled out.
So you don't have paperwork for how many, 10?
10 of them.
There are 10 firefighters who either did not sign their time card or did not come in and fill out their paperwork, which is the I-9, the W-4, and the Wisconsin paperwork.
That's what you gave us last time.
That's what
Which
I
is
gave you
what-
last time.
And she sent out several emails and everything else. So there's gotta be one point of contact when these people are hired and brought on that this paperwork is getting done, because you're not supposed to pay them if it's not done.
Well, then you
Correct.
can't.
Right.
You just plain can't.
So I've got 10 people
Mhm.
who deserve to get paid because they waited 6 months to get paid if they've worked there that long.
Well, then I think they should have made the effort to get their stuff signed and get
That's
it
the
in.
question.
and-
They're volunteers.
Yeah, I would say, my suggestion on this is when they get their stuff signed, bring it to the next board meeting.
Okay.
Patty, could you email me a list of those people and I will do what I can to get them motivated?
Either that or tell them thanks for the donation.
Just tell them that they did sign up for a volunteer fire department.
Yeah, well,
Well, if they don't sign it and they don't fill out paperwork, legally, we cannot pay them.
Right.
Well, you can't pay them, and the other thing is, if anything comes up, there's people that aren't signing their time cards.
Mhm.
People need to sign their time cards saying that they're acknowledging to the best of their ability and knowledge that this is true and correct.
Mhm.
If something happens, how do you go back to enforce any policy if you don't have that?
Right. I agree.
so if you just shoot me an email with those names, I'll do what I can to motivate them, to get them to go to the town clerk's office, sign time cards. I have all the employment documents, I can resend them back out to the people who don't have the paperwork done.
When they get it done,
Well, if you've sent them once, I'd rather
I've
not
sent
see
them
you
once.
send another.
I mean, there's, yeah, they can get them off the internet, but there's no reason to.
Yeah, you shouldn't have to babysit for them.
All right, so,
If there's, if you don't know of any policy or procedure that says when they get paid, where is that? Is there something that?
well, Norm gave me a piece of notebook paper, and Rod said that they get paid, he gets paid quarterly, and the assistant chief gets paid quarterly. And that was on Norm's notebook paper, but
It may be in their is it in the bylaws?
It says that
I would
they're,
have to look.
it says that the other ones are paid semi-annually?
yes.
For as long as I've been on the fire
Officers.
department, the 20-plus years, we've always gotten paid twice a year.
Okay.
That's the way it's always been.
They got
And I will go
bylaws.
look in the bylaws and see what it says in our bylaws
Yes.
as to,
But if you get paid twice a year and you're only putting down fire calls, with the turnover that's been in the clerk's office, somebody needs to say whether or not the salary for the officers needs to get paid.
yeah,
And that's what I'm saying, somehow we need to review it.
Okay.
We've taken the first step by going through.
and doing the
No,
paperwork.
I'm
and
not
all.
saying this is
No, no, no.
not derogatory against you, I'm saying we took the first step. We went through the
Yep.
paperwork, and we didn't have paperwork for some people getting paid. They were in a computer, it wasn't in a file. Well, if you don't have an I-9 on there, you should be paying them just like that salary. So we've gone through that and we're working on that.
Is there any way of knowing if that's been happening for other people that haven't been getting paid every 6 months?
It's, to my knowledge, everybody has gotten a check every 6 months. Because if they don't, trust me, I'm the first one they come
I would
after
think so,
that.
yeah.
I'm the first one they come and find. And then I just backtrack from there and find out why not. And some of it has been a glitch in our reporting system that we have, which I've fixed almost all of those glitches with our reporting system with our image trend company.
So there have been some issues where they haven't gotten paid?
There have been, but we've went back and we've caught it before I submitted the payroll
Okay.
stuff. Because I did try to print stuff out and say, hey, take a look at this, make sure it's right before I submit it. I just didn't know we had to have them sign it. But I do take a look at stuff to make sure it's correct before I submit it.
Is there something they have to sign when they become a volunteer?
As far as being hired on with us, application.
Okay, when just the application gets turned in and that's it? Okay. Doesn't the fire department have to approve them?
Yes.
Yeah, they're on
They
probation.
meet with the officers and everything, and then they get approved to the officers to be probationary members.
Mm-hmm.
Once that happens, Norm had given me the I-9 and all that stuff. And as soon as I can meet up with them, they get that paperwork and they fill it out in front of me.
Mm-hmm.
And then they get me copies of their driver's license, social security for Patty.
Mm-hmm.
And then I turn that into Rod and she brings it over to
Okay,
Patty.
because I think before they can even go on a call, that paperwork has to be filled out.
Absolutely, we tell them,
Okay,
before you go on a call, I need this paperwork filled out and completed before we can let you go.
The only problem that I have with doing it that way is when I sign for the town of McMillan as the person responsible for payroll and personnel records,
Mm-hmm.
I'm attesting on that I-9 to saying I physically inspected the document that they gave.
Well, then they need to come into your
I'm not
office.
physically inspecting a copy,
Yeah,
which is what I get.
then they need to bring it in to you.
So either the board needs to designate someone from the fire department who's going to be the personnel designation for the new oncoming fireman to sign that I-9 and put it in a personnel file, or they need to come to the clerk's office.
I guess it's up to what the board prefers, because if you need originals, we were told by past clerks that copies would be fine.
No, copies aren't together. So who's ever signing the I-9 has to see the driver's license. Am I correct?
That's the new
Yeah.
I-9s have an attestation by whoever signs off that says they're inspecting the original document.
Mm-hmm.
That's what we want then.
Yes, right. We want whatever is supposed to be going on. We
And
want
that's
that to happen.
probably changed since, I mean, those forms
Could
changed.
be, because
So
the
it could've
original
changed
forms I
since you've
had
been
were
told.
like.
So
years
what is
ago.
the exact thing that you want from us right now is to,
The only thing I wanted from you right now is to know what's going on and find out whether or not you wanted me to run these guys' payroll as they're coming in and signing their forms, or if I should wait. But the suggestion was to bring them to the meetings
As they come in.
so if they
as
come in next month, then there may be payroll on your.
I guess the part that I don't understand is how can they have a time card when they never filled any of this out?
That's my point.
Mm-hmm.
There's too many people that are either
Just kind of
signing
floating around.
or not.
Yeah.
Somehow they're not getting the right information and not going to the right place.
Well, I think we got some real work, we'll work on it and get it straightened out.
Well, yeah, and this was the first step, going through,
Right, yeah.
Going through
going
the,
through
through
the
the
time
time
cards,
cards.
because I,
That
other
was-
than the list that they give me, I have no idea who it was.
Okay.
So I took the list that Rod brought me for the fire department, I went through the personnel files, and I sent back a highlighted list, and they've hounded these guys for a couple of weeks now. I think it's been 2, maybe 3 weeks we've been working
2
on
weeks
this.
plus at the monthly meeting and at the monthly training.
My question is, what issue will there be with the state or anybody if we make payroll payments next month to people that should have had their stuff in and it being paid this month? That's my question. I don't even know who to ask that question to, but.
Until they get their paperwork, they're not even supposed to be on a job.
Well, I understand that, the
Yeah.
paperwork part of it, but if they aren't turning in the time card
Mm-hmm,
or not signing it, and we aren't giving them a check,
mm-hmm.
and we're supposed to pay them semi-annually, then are we gonna have to make them wait till December to get that
No.
check?
No,
Because, that's my question, is,
my suggestion was as they get their stuff filled in,
I know, and my question is, will that be a problem
no,
With-
that wouldn't be a problem,
with
because it's
this.
basically on them.
with a governmental agency of any kind?
The problem would come in for us paying them without the proper paperwork.
Okay.
That's where the problem would come in. And we've already done it. So when they step foot on the property over there, you tell them, you are not gonna be doing anything, no training, no nothing until this paperwork's done. That's pretty much law, so.
So they
that's
have to
pretty
go
much
into
it is.
that.
Because we actually have training tomorrow night, so if I get the list, I can probably snag a bunch of them tomorrow night and hand them the
So would, do we
paperwork.
wanna designate Lori in charge of signing that I-9 that she
I'm not
is?
sure she wants that.
I don't want that, I'm sorry, I don't want that
Well, I'm just
responsibility.
asking.
I can talk, let me talk to Rod, and,
Okay.
Or would
Feel out
you
what his
prefer it
feelings
coming
are.
into you?
because I don't wanna
Well, she's
talk
not
to
here,
her.
she's not,
Mhm,
when they come in,
right.
so,
Ready for the motion?
yes.
I'll move that we do the checks number 14243 through 14283 with the electronic financial transfer of 6292016 for a total of $91,386.73.
Your check number is wrong, should have been 14303.
And 94,000.
And 94,984.
Should I read that?
Yes, you gotta read the newest one.
Here,
You're gonna get Friday's
one,
brought up.
you got one front, back,
I'm looking at
Here
the
it
front
is.
and back.
Look at the one that's stapled, not the individual papers.
Yeah, because
Okay,
we're gonna be Friday's.
there you
one.
go.
so it's 14243 through 14303. Transfer 6292016 for $94,948.46.
84.
46.
$94,984.46. All right?
Correct.
You got it.
Good.
Okay, is there a second?
I'll second.
Okay, all right, the motion has been made to accept checks, to approve checks 14243 through 14303, and electronic transfer 6292016 for a total of $94,984.46. Is there discussion?
I got a question on check from Kuyov. What is that for?
That was
It's
for
for
the tanker
the
repair.
tanker repair that's,
From that
The accident was Stratford.
Stratford?
Yep.
Okay.
that's exactly what the insurance reimbursement was.
Then the other question was, and we talked about this last month or the month before, about that check that's a year old,
Oh, Don
that hasn't been
Locksmith.
cashed for Don Locksmithing, and she's still on there.
Well, the treasurer can, that's the treasurer's report,
Not bad.
not mine.
Okay,
That's the outstanding checks, not the checks you're approving.
Okay, any other question, discussion? Okay, Patty? Well, plus the approval of the clerk's report.
I'll make that as
Part of your motion?
Mhm.
I'll second that as part of my second.
There you go. It's hot in here.
Well, if you turn the air conditioning
It was cold when I got here. I've had enough.
Debbie? Aye. Dave?
Aye.
Carolyn?
Aye.
Gary?
Aye.
Joe?
Aye.
Did you check the thermostat? It was running.
The power's off on the box outside. You want it on? I'll turn it on.
Who checked the power? It was running when I came in here tonight.
Well, that was
How does it not run in the power district? Miraculously.
Well, it's time for your report.
You're gonna get out of here that easy.
Checking account balance, bank, end of June, $19,111.24, less outstanding checks of $5,563.70. No outstanding deposits for reconciled checking account balance of $13,548.07. Tax savings account had a balance of $319,377.56. Park fund savings account, $8,951.85. Volunteer firefighters fund savings account, $33,134.91. Fire department CD, $20,120.17. Public works replacement apparatus CD, $27,907.98. For a cash balance of $423 for $1,040.54.
Have you transferred anything out of the tax savings account? You just periodically do it?
Periodically, usually it's the day after these meetings.
Okay, and what's needed?
Yeah,
Yeah, okay.
I'll leave, I don't know, 10, 15,000 in there.
Okay,
In the checking for an operating balance.
yeah, okay. All right,
I make the motion to accept the treasurer's financial report as presented.
A second.
okay, the motion has been made and seconded to approve the treasurer's financial report as presented. Any discussion?
Well, I guess now's the time to ask
That was
about
the time to
that
ask
check.
them.
That long-term outstanding check?
Yes.
That's accounts payable, that would be paid.
It's been paid.
Well, it comes off her computer. I
It
can't
hasn't
do anything
been
that
cashed.
she doesn't.
I like that one.
We had discussed just
Right.
Dropping it.
dropping it.
And along with that, you got another one there now that's not that old, but it's 4 months less. Or no, not 4 months.
Yeah.
9/14/15.
Yeah, that